The umpire waved us off the field at the top of the fifth. Lightning over the tree line, rain hammering the dirt. 20 minutes later, I pulled into my own driveway and saw a silver Audi parked behind Sarah's car. I'd never seen it before. The front door was unlocked, and the moment I stepped inside, I heard her laughing upstairs and then a man's voice I didn't recognize. Saturday league ball was the one thing I never missed. 9 months out of the year, every Saturday morning, I drove out to the Oak Ridge complex and played third base for a rec team sponsored by a tire shop. 36 years old, bad knee, still diving for grounders like it mattered. Sarah joked that I loved that diamond more than our couch. Maybe she was right. During the week, I ran the night shift at a distribution center off Route 4, scheduling trucks, managing dock crews, solving problems that started at 9 p.m. and didn't stop until sunrise. Saturdays were mine. Sarah knew that. She counted on it. That morning, the forecast said partly cloudy. By the fourth inning, the sky turned black and the wind knocked over the scorer's table. The umpire didn't wait for a vote. I threw my glove in the bag, didn't bother changing, and drove home in my cleats. The Audi in the driveway had a dealership frame from the next town over. I walked in through the side door, dropped my bag in the mudroom, and that's when Sarah's laugh floated down from the second floor. And right after it, low and easy, a voice that wasn't mine. Every instinct told me to go upstairs, take the steps 2 at a time, throw the bedroom door open, and make it loud. Instead, I looked at the kitchen counter. 2 wine glasses, both half full. A bottle of Sancerre, the kind Sarah only bought when she said we were celebrating something. Next to it sat a man's watch with a leather band and a gold face. Just sitting there on my counter like it lived there. I picked up the watch and turned it over. Engraved on the back, it read MD, always forward. Upstairs, the floorboards creaked. A door closed. Water started running in the master bathroom. I set the watch back exactly where it was. Then I sat down on the couch still in my muddy uniform and waited, not because I was frozen, because I needed to see her face when she walked down those stairs and realized the Saturday schedule had just changed. 15 minutes passed. The bedroom door opened and Sarah came down first, hair still damp, wearing a t-shirt I didn't recognize. Behind her came a man about my height, buttoning his cuffs, moving like he'd done this walk before. She hit the landing and saw me. Her smile collapsed in stages. First the mouth, then the eyes. "Ryan, you're..." She trailed off. "The game, Rain," I said. The man behind her went rigid. Mid-30s, clean-shaven. He looked at Sarah. She looked at the floor. Marcus was just helping me with Sarah started, but I cut her off. "His watch is on the counter." Marcus crossed the living room without a word, picked up the watch and walked out the side door. The Audi started 45 seconds later. Sarah stood at the bottom of the stairs. Her hands were trembling and she pressed them flat against her thighs to stop it. Then something clicked behind her eyes and she folded her arms. "It's not what you think," she said. I looked at the wine glasses, the wet hair, the shirt I'd never seen. "Where's Caleb?" I asked. "At my mom's." She took a step forward. "Ryan, listen to me. Since when does your friend leave his watch on our counter?" The panic shifted to something harder. "You don't get to interrogate me," she said. "You just walked in covered in mud like some kind of... How long?" I asked. She pressed her lips together. "Sarah, how long?" "It doesn't matter," she said. "It matters to me." She grabbed her keys off the hook, shoved her feet into sandals and walked out the front door. Didn't answer. Didn't look back. Her car turned left toward her mother's house. She didn't come home that night. Texted at 10 o'clock saying she was staying at her mom's. Caleb was already asleep and we'd talk tomorrow. I didn't respond. I poured the Sancerre down the sink and washed both glasses. Then I sat at the kitchen table with my phone and typed Marcus D into every search I could think of. 15 minutes was all it took. Marcus Davis, regional rep for a surgical equipment company, married to Melissa Davis, a nurse at Sarah's pediatric clinic. Same department, same floor. My wife had been sleeping with her coworker's husband. His LinkedIn had the photo. Same guy, same expensive shoes. Melissa's Facebook was public. Pictures of the two of them at a wedding last fall. A beach trip at Christmas. 3 kids. She looked happy in every single one. Sunday morning, Sarah came back with Caleb on her hip. She put him down in the playpen and sat across from me at the table. Her opening line was rehearsed. I could hear it. "Marcus and I made a mistake one time. It's over. I told him yesterday it's done. One time the watch was engraved. The wine was open. He knew which door to use. Nothing about that looked like one time." "'Kay," I said. She blinked. "'Kay, I heard you." That's all I gave her. She waited for the fight, the accusations, the tears. When none of it came, she picked up Caleb and went upstairs. I heard the bedroom door close. Monday at work I called my buddy Dean on the first break. He'd gone through a divorce 3 years ago and came out with full custody. I need your lawyer's name. I told him. He asked how bad. I told him bad enough. The number came through before I hung up. The attorney, Ramirez, asked 3 questions. How long married? Shared property, kids. She said, come in Wednesday at 8 a.m. That same night I checked the Ring camera app. I'd installed the doorbell 3 years ago, $15 a month for the cloud plan, auto charged to my card. Last spring Sarah asked me to cancel it. She said it creeped her out. I told her I turned it off. I hadn't. The Audi showed up 14 times. Always Saturdays. Always between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock, exactly when I was at the field. He walked up to my door and let himself in while my son napped at grandma's. One time that's what she told me. I screenshotted every entry, dates, timestamps, plate number, saved them to a cloud folder, and emailed a copy to my work address. Then I cleared the app history on the shared tablet. Sarah was on the couch when I came downstairs. She looked up and smiled. It was the kind of smile that's asking if we're past it. The kind that assumes the answer is yes. I smiled back, sat next to her, watched whatever she was watching. Wednesday morning, Ramirez reviewed the screenshots in 3 minutes flat. 14 visits, she said. Same vehicle. You have the plate, the timestamps, and your wife's partial admission. This is clean. She laid out what mattered in plain language. Ohio was no fault, but pattern of behavior counted for custody. Stay in the house. Stay present with the boy. Don't confront until papers are ready. One more thing, I said. He's married to. His wife works with Sarah. Ramirez set down her pen. That's your call. It doesn't affect your filing. But that woman is living the same lie you were. That sentence followed me to the warehouse. Melissa Davis was going through her days packing lunches for 3 kids, thinking her husband played golf on Saturdays. Same trick, same schedule. By Thursday night, I decided I wouldn't call Melissa yet. The moment I did, Marcus would warn Sarah and the whole thing would blow up before the papers were ready. One more week. Ramirez said she'd have everything filed by Friday. At home I played it straight. Helped Caleb with his bath. Read him the book about the digger truck 4 times. Sarah put on a movie and curled up on her end of the couch. Halfway through she shifted closer. I stood up, said I needed water and didn't come back. She fell asleep alone. She thought we were healing. The papers were being printed while she slept. Saturday I packed my bag and drove to the field like every other weekend. Sarah watched me from the kitchen window. I saw her in the rearview mirror. The routine was back. That's what she believed. I parked at Oak Ridge, told the guys my hamstring was acting up and drove to a coffee shop 2 blocks from the house. At 11:15 my phone buzzed with a Ring notification. Silver Audi, same plate. He didn't even glance at the doorbell because Sarah had told him I'd turned it off months ago. The door opened before he knocked one time. Over. Done. That was her speech from last Sunday. I let an hour pass. At 12:20 I pulled into the driveway behind the Audi, blocking it in. My key turned smooth and quiet. The wine glasses were back on the counter. Same spot, same Sancerre. The house was quiet for a second. Then the floorboard shifted overhead. This time I didn't sit down. 14 steps to the second floor. I counted everyone. The bedroom door was closed and I opened it without knocking. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed. Marcus stood by the window, shirt untucked. Both of them turned at the same time. I had not called Melissa yet. That was still coming. But in that doorway I made a decision. I looked at Marcus and said, "Your wife Melissa, good person." She picked up on the first ring. It was a lie. I hadn't made that call yet. But I needed to see what those words would do to his face. And they did everything. Marcus went white, not embarrassed but terrified. The color drained so fast he gripped the windowsill to stay upright. "You didn't," he said. "Get out of my house," I told him. He snatched the watch off the nightstand and moved past me without breathing. Down the stairs, out the side door, tires squealing on wet pavement before the door swung shut. Sarah hadn't moved. Her hands shook against the mattress. "Ryan, why would you call her?" She started. "Do you know what you just?" 14 Saturdays. "Sarah," I said. She stopped mid-sentence. "Ring camera, every visit, every time stamp. You told me it was one time. I let that settle. You had the whole week to stop. You picked up the wine instead." Her expression shifted into something I'd never seen. Not guilt, not shame, calculation. She was measuring how much I knew against how much was bluff. "The footage is backed up." I said, "Cloud work email and a flash drive at Dean's place." She stood up. "You've been planning this," she said. "You gave me 14 Saturdays to plan it." For the first time in 8 years, Sarah had nothing to say. She sat back down and stared at the wall. I walked out, closed the door behind me, and went downstairs to make the call I'd only pretended I'd already made. Melissa Davis picked up on the second ring. I told her my name, told her I was married to Sarah, and told her that her husband had been coming to my house every Saturday for 4 months. The line went quiet for about 15 seconds. "I know who you are," she said. "Sarah talks about you at work. She talks about me." I asked. "She told everyone you were checked out, that you cared more about your baseball league than your own family." Her voice was flat and steady. "Marcus told me he had a standing golf game on Saturdays. I never checked." I gave her the dates. She didn't cry. She asked me to send the screenshots and I emailed them while we were still on the phone. "Thank you for calling," she said. "Most people wouldn't." When I hung up, Sarah was standing at the top of the stairs. She'd heard enough. "You know this affects everyone, right?" She said. "Their kids. Our kid. The whole family. That happened in June." I told her. "I'm just the one who stopped pretending." She came down, grabbed her phone and started texting with both thumbs. "Warning Marcus. Probably too late for that." Melissa didn't sound like the kind of woman who needed much time to decide. I walked to the hall closet and pulled out Caleb's overnight bag. Started filling it. Diapers, wipes, his blue blanket, the stuffed dog he wouldn't sleep without. Sarah watched me pack and her voice finally cracked. "Where are you taking him?" she asked. "Dean's for the weekend. You can't just take my son." "Our son," I said. "And I'm not disappearing. I'm giving you the house for the night so you can think about what comes next. Caleb doesn't need to hear any of it." She followed me to his room. He was on the floor pushing a plastic truck in circles, making engine sounds with his lips. 3 years old and no idea what was collapsing around him. I picked him up. He grabbed my shirt with both fists the way he always did. Sarah reached out and touched the back of his head. Whatever she'd done, she was still his mother. I didn't pull away. "Papers are coming Monday morning," I said from the hallway. "Ramirez will reach out directly. I'm not fighting over the house or the savings account, but I want primary custody and the footage supports that." Her hand dropped from his head. "You already hired a lawyer," she said, "since last Wednesday." She leaned against the door frame. The anger left her in real time. The posture, the set jaw, all of it draining out. What replaced it wasn't regret. It was the slow recognition that the man holding their son had spent the past week doing exactly what she never believed he would. "I'll be at Dean's," I said. "Don't call tonight." Dean was on his porch when I pulled in. Helped me carry the bag inside. Set up the pack and play. Didn't ask a single question. His daughter Lily brought Caleb her old stacking cups like she was welcoming a new recruit. After both kids were down, Dean handed me a beer on the back steps. The rain had passed and the air smelled like wet grass and charcoal. "Ramirez is good," he said. "Got me through mine in 5 months. Stay calm. Stay present. That's her whole deal." Then he looked at me sideways. "You good?" When Caleb grabbed my shirt in his room, both fists tight, I nearly broke, but Dean was asking if I'd keep moving. "Yeah," I told him. "I'm good." Monday morning, I signed the papers at Ramirez's office before the sun cleared the rooftops. Sarah would be served at the clinic by lunchtime. Melissa had already filed. She texted me Sunday night to say so. 2 marriages, same man, same Saturdays. After work, I picked Caleb up from Dean's. He ran to me across the porch with his arms out and his legs barely keeping up. I buckled him into the car seat, handed him the stuffed dog and pulled onto the road. The sky was clear for the first time in a week. Caleb pointed at something through the window and laughed. That full 3-year-old laugh that doesn't know anything is wrong. I turned left toward our new apartment. The lease started.